Please click on the subscribe button so you get notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about my 49ers here for a bit. Ambry Thomas, one of our cornerbacks that, in my opinion, we rely on in our secondary, has broken his forearm and there is no timetable set for his return. I personally love Ambry because he's come up clutch for us over the last couple of seasons. And in all honesty, we drafted him and he's developed into being one of the key pieces of that secondary over the last couple of years. He's homegrown, so I appreciate all the effort and all the hard work he's put in that 49er uniform. Because of the injuries that have been piling up for the 49ers, joint practice with the Saints has been canceled this entire week. And I completely understand it. We're trying to win a Super Bowl, and I want to go into the regular season healthy and hopefully make it all the way into the postseason as one of the top 2 seeds healthy as well. Hopefully, in my honest opinion, I think it's time for Sammy Womack to step it up. Each preseason that I see Sammy Womack, he leaves me impressed. I think the last 3 preseasons or the last couple of preseasons since we drafted him, he's gotten a pick. I think he'd be a suitable replacement for Ambry Thomas, in my personal opinion. I don't know if what they're seeing on the practice field isn't translating, but I think it might be time to give Sammy Womack a shot. I think he's earned it. I've been very impressed with him over the last few preseasons, and I think he's a suitable replacement for Ambry Thomas. I know each year Ambry has to fight for his spot on the rotation, but I think Ambry this year earned that starting position to go alongside Diamador Lenore and Tre'Davious Ward, who are clearly our first and second cornerbacks. And I just wish Ambry a speedy recovery because we're going to need him down the road. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about one of the most talked about topics in the NFL right now, the Brandon Aiyuk trade situation. Brandon Aiyuk recently turned down a deal that would have paid him as one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league from the New England Patriots. There was also another deal in place where the Niners received Amari Cooper, a 2nd-round pick, and a 5th-round pick for Brandon Aiyuk. And Brandon did not want to go to Cleveland either. So now it's come down to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the San Francisco 49ers. It's been reported that Aiyuk has told the Niners that he wants them to match the same deal the Steelers are giving him in order to stay, which is, I believe, around $28 million. I think they should do it, but details have also come out that the Niners and the Steelers have a deal in place, the framework for at least a deal in place for Brandon Aiyuk. But with that being said, the Niners have also submitted an offer to Aiyuk because they want to retain his services for the upcoming season and moving forward. Since that news is broken, it's then been reported that Aiyuk would prefer to stay in San Francisco. And he was even spotted at practice talking to coaches, talking to players, and listening into practice. With that being said, I think a deal is imminent. I am hoping this can be done by the end of the week. Maybe it'll be done by the time I post this episode. Who knows? But if that's the case, I am so happy that the Niners are doing everything in their power to keep Brandon Aiyuk. Again, I believe he's one of the top 5 best wide receivers in the league in terms of his production. I believe that when you give Brandon Aiyuk the ball, good things are going to happen. He doesn't need a lot of touches, and we have a lot of weapons. Having a player that doesn't need that many touches but can still give you the production that he gives you, plus he's a willing and able blocker, and he's healthy, something that Debo has struggled with his entire career with the 49ers because of his style of play. I think re-signing Brandon Aiyuk and keeping him with the 49ers long-term is the way to go, and I have stood by that. I thought the deal was going to be north of $30 million, but if BA is willing to leave some money on the table because he wants to be a contender, he wants to win a championship, and he genuinely wants to be a San Francisco 49ers, because I've always believed he's wanted to be a Niner from day one, and he's proven it. Since he got to the team, I know he didn't start his first year or he struggled to get on the field, but each year since then he's gotten better. And since Brock Purdy has taken over, we've seen Brandon Aiyuk evolve into an elite superstar wide receiver, in my honest opinion. So hopefully good news is pending. Hopefully we get this done, and hopefully we can be celebrating the Bang Bang Niner gang the return of BA, and ultimately a chance of winning a Super Bowl this upcoming season. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to the first preseason game and a player that really stood out to me, Malik Mustapha, who honestly had a very impressive showing in his first preseason game, honestly might be special. Again, I know it's preseason. I know it's the first game. I know these players are just trying to get reps and everything. But this is a player John Lynch drafted, okay? John Lynch has done a phenomenal job since he's been in San Francisco picking safeties. He went from Jaquaski Tart and Jimmy Ward, who were both good safeties for San Francisco at the time, to Hufanga and Ward, who went from Hufanga to Tayshaun Gibson, who for San Francisco, he actually played really well. I have to give my hats off to him. To Jair Brown, who actually stepped up and played phenomenal, in my opinion, in that playoff run and heading to the Super Bowl. To now maybe Malik Mustapha, giving him options if Hoof can't stay healthy, if they can't work out a deal for next year. Maybe Hoof is gone by the time his rookie contract is up, but I personally think Hoof is special. I think Jair Brown might be special, and I also think Malik Mustapha might be special. Again, this is John Lynch doing a phenomenal job picking safeties. He has a track record of success in this area, and if he picked Malik Mustapha and Malik Mustapha looked the way that he looked, ladies and gentlemen, like this preseason game, I'm excited to see what this young man does in his career. Hopefully he can get playing time this season, and if Hoof isn't ready, which is something I'm going to transition to right here, right now, Malik should start, in my personal opinion. Let's see what he can do out there. I know Greg Odom is vying to finally get some playing time other than special team reps, but if you got something, you know what I like. I like my rookies. I like them to play, and I like them to start. So if you can start Malik Mustapha, start Malik Mustapha. But with that being said, Hoof might be ready to play week 1. And if Hoof is ready to play week 1, ladies and gentlemen, granted, he's got a lot of rust, but he's been in the building. He's been present. He's been doing everything other than actually practicing with pads on with the 49ers that I think he's going to be ready. He might not hit the ground running off the first game, but give him 2-3 weeks after the first week. He's going to be out there. He's going to be dominating. And again, I'm so excited to hear that Hoof might be ready by week 1. That is great, phenomenal news. And I just can't wait for the season to actually start, ladies and gentlemen.
Guys, have you heard? Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. You been blaming me.